It's actually a case of all of the above. You don't see the Chinese, the Americans, or others saying it's only got to be one piece of hardware, not another.
Now, I've talked about this a little bit already. Now they're talking about it. When it comes to defence spending, and it's good not to even try not to have defence spending because you end up you're letting the devil win by wasting money and stuff like that. But you got to do what you got to do, but you always try to avoid stirring up the bad guy, right? Unless you have to, like the bad guy's not going to let you go. He's coming for you. You're right. You got to do your steps, other steps, right? But when you're trying to have peace, and they're all talking peace and that, and you're connecting, and everyone knows and stuff like that, you try to head a different direction. Than all going shit. I'm going to have just a bigger army. They've got a big army. I'm going to fight a bigger army, and all that. Well, that's what I hear a lot happening in the last 10 years or so. That won't make anything better. It just makes everyone have to pay for more soldiers. Just ask what North Korea about that. What happens? You might become like a country like North Korea, and that's not very good. Where only the people that succeed are the ones that are in the military, because they're for, so costly. They can't afford such a thing. So the people become the military. That's like North Korea, isn't it? And so when it comes to defence spending, you got to know where you're going to spend the money. We only have so much money, you have so much people, and all these things. A lot of governments say these days just to advertise, do you want to join something? Costs you a shitload of money, even though you can do it in a lot of other ways. They want their separate ad. Like a lot of other ways where you can mention it while you're already in the meeting and stuff like that. Just a small thing to save a big ad that's millions, because that can go on an extra jet, right? Or whatever you're getting, right? If you can do your thinking right in the right areas with your spending. And the best thing when it comes to the force is the people themselves, what they know, how many pilots you got, right? How many soldiers have you got? How many people can do this and do that? How many multiple taskers, or can they only do that field? Is it best if we teach them in all these other fields? Because when they don't have that field, I've got to send in this other dude, and that was costly, and then right? It's all about um, picking and choosing. Like when I used to play video games, as I've talked about already before, about war tactics and what I learnt with video games, and how I mentioned about how you attack the energy grid and all these things, you attack what hurts, right? When it becomes war, when you hit them first or you're hitting them back, right? They will do these certain tactics, and I talk about what units to buy and how you can buy just a couple of cheap things, or you can buy one big unit that I talked about in the previous clip, and that big unit costs you a lot of money, like a tank, and then next minute drone comes in and goes, and that tank takes a lot of metal, a lot of resources, a lot of time and effort. Now it's sitting there, and then it's going to take another lot of time and effort to recycle it, and I'll just get rid of it, right? When a drone just come in, not that much time and effort, a couple of panels, tick, 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 tick. That's Emma on the phone. She's got bibbed out. Tick, 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 like that. And all of a sudden, drone comes in, hardly any materials, takes out a lot of materials, right? Cheap. But then you can defend for drones, like in the game when that used to happen. A lot of planes come in and just shoot your tanks, and your tank can't do nothing. It's like, and then you go, oh, I'll just get a shitload of planes, and then I can beat this force. But yet, if you had the tanks with anti-aircraft coming in, and you only needed, say, 10 or 20 coming in, you only need 5 or 4 anti-aircraft, because they'll shoot a fair bit, right? And as the aircrafts come in for the tanks, it gives them time too. They'll, if you strategize it yourself, but the computer wouldn't so much, depends on how hard you got strategize yourself, you'd go for those first, right? When you're playing against other people, the anti-tanks, so then you can take out the tanks. But in a lot of cases, there's confusion in war and stuff, and they're coming in, they only hit the tanks. They're told that's what they're mainly there to get. That's what the computer does sometimes when you play the computer. And you got your 4 anti-tanks can take down 20 of those planes. Right? Just have 4. Not too long, you might lose 2 tanks or so. Right? As they come in the game, the tanks will have a little bit more strength in real life, as they've got to shoot them, and they go shoot them, shoot them. And only take one missile, I guess, in certain areas. But it depends on what missiles they've got. They all don't have the best anti-penetrating missiles, right? And so it depends on what armies coming in and what resources. When they have the penetrating missiles, and they all got that. And then if they don't hit it right, it costs them money. Right? Trying to get the best for everything. It's good to still have a little bit of something, but you don't want to go overboard or something. And those big things that went in, if you backed them up and they stayed behind, you could use them. It's just where it should sit or how many should you have. You don't want to overdo them. Because you can just waste a lot of resources, and you'd learn in these games in the end, amount of money, I shouldn't have spent so much on this and this and this and this now. I should have got this, I've learned this. But that's what learning is too. Right? But war strategies, right? The best is not the war at all. Like, war, what is it good for? That's a good one, isn't it? But not when you still got an arsehole going, fuck that, yeah, ooh yeah, right? So you got to deal with it. When it comes to, if you got people who are smart and strategies and war tactics, you don't need so much, right? So it's outsmart your opponents as well when it comes to war, which has always been around. It goes on and on and on, doesn't it? But I find when it comes to war and defence, the best thing to do is teach your people the best you can, arm the people the best you can, definitely in a world of all countries and threats out there. If they're there and you know they can do it and they want to do it and they talk about doing it, then you got to prepare for it, because more than likely they will do it, right? Sooner or later. And they'll sneak in. They'll come in when you're asleep and stab you while you're walking away in the back, kind of thing, when these things go down. And so I believe that people should be armed as best they can and get the people to do that. Like I talk about, it's stupid to get rid of gun laws. It's best to have educated people so you can have the guns, because the guns are a good thing. It's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. Simple as that. If they don't have a gun, they'll use a spoon. Trust me, if they want to kill you, and they will. In no matter what country you have, anger kicks in all sorts of ways. Right? You'd probably be best to be shot. It might be quicker and easier than be gouged by the spoon, right? That can happen too in life when you do such choices. And so we're getting a lot of stabbings here in Australia. Maybe all the bad guys are quickly getting their stabs out before they lose their knife, and they've got to use the spoon because it won't go away, right? And then who gets the best outcome? Would you rather be stabbed or shot at the moment, right? You see me point? But its best point is to educate and to make sure everything's right in all sorts of areas. If you got a dude shooting at you, well, at least make it fair and other people shoot at them, right? Here in Australia, we got a lot of violence very, very quickly, because it shows when violence comes how much it can pick up because of how defenceless we are. We have to rely on the police. They're pretty busy at the moment, aren't they? Right? But if you had the power of the people, we would be able to help out the police system. But the police have taken away the power of the people here in Australia, as they're so powerful. But watch the news lately. Anyway, war tactics. I can go on all day long about that. It takes a bit of research and being in the field and knowing other people and other things you can do. But war tactics is a mine over mines when it comes to the punch of it in the end, isn't it? And who can outbeat who's going to spend more resources. And the whole country adds up together as a collective. So when you lose, you're all collectively lost, or the 1%ers and the leaders didn't want to help, didn't want none of your help, and lost it for you. It'd be the one. None of them are good. So have a good one, and see you later. And I would go with, like I said, training and defense. Like try to wall in these games. That's what I built. In the end, a wall would save you a lot of money. Definitely, you're going to get attacked a lot, which is what happens in these games. A wall doesn't have to be specifically a wall. It just means a line of defense. So homes, people with weapons in those homes. America has a lot of it, right? If you don't have them, what do you got? What's Australia got? They got open field, and then if they do have homes around, but they're open too, they're not lines of defense. They're going to call one, you see. So have a good one and see you.